Convenience stores fuel America. In fact, we sell 80% of the gas in this country. So making sure that our pumps are secure is paramount to our customers and our businesses. NACS and PCATS developed some guidelines that can help you minimize the risk of skimming at your stores. I urge you to follow this advice. Your business could depend on it.
This is happening anywhere and everywhere in the United States with any type of card device.
Skimming should be a concern for anyone who accepts plastic.
Skimming is the act where someone will put a third-party device either outside or inside the pump. It allows them to capture credit card information. It'll also allow them to capture your PIN number in case you use a debit card. We're here to educate people on card skimming and to hopefully prevent a large breach from occurring at a C-store that could potentially damage their business. Recently, it has become a larger issue across the board. We're seeing it at gas pumps. We're also seeing it at ATMs across the country. If you have a device that reads cards, you are susceptible to having a skimmer put on it regardless of what it is. A breach would be considered if they got inside the pump and the skimmer was placed on the inside of the pump on the card reader, compared to an external skimmer, which could be something as simple as a video camera recording your card as you put it into the reader.
Skimming could have a profound impact on your business.
Certain skimmers you can install from outside. The overlay on the card reader and the overlay on the PIN pad wouldn't actually require anyone to go into the pump and can be installed fairly quickly. So during a busy time, that they could blend in with everyone else and just look like they're pumping gas. I think if you had a breach long enough and didn't catch it long enough, you could potentially compromise hundreds of customers' cards, and all it would take is one person to get out on the news that your station is the cause of all these stolen credit cards, and you could pretty much kill your business overnight, just not at your own fault, but at the fault of criminals. I think when people know that you had a breach, they will be extremely hesitant to dip their card anywhere on your site, regardless of measures you've taken, because in the back of their mind, they're always going to remember that one time that there was that huge breach.
There are some things you should look for, both outside and inside the dispenser.
Right here is the card reader. This is where you'll either see a skimmer over top of the card reader, or you may see it inside. An easy way to catch a skimmer being put on your card reader is this one, as you can see, is slightly faded from the sun. If you were to look at your station and see a nice glossy black, fresh top to this, you would immediately know that someone had put a skimmer on it. I'm going to check the card reader. I'm going to ensure that this does not look too wide, too far out. This should be flush at all times. It's going to be a little bigger, so it's going to stand out, but not to someone that just pumps gas at a gas station, that's all they do, isn't going to notice something like that. But as a store manager, you look at these things, you clean them, you know what they're supposed to look like. If you notice one is bigger than the rest or discolored, that's most likely a skimmer. The way that they get a keypad is the membrane keypad here, as you can see, lays flush. They will overlay their own keypad, which sometimes will look identical or sometimes might not look identical and may have small differences such as colors. The yellow may be a different yellow, the green may be a different green, but it will not lay flush with the outer ring. That'll be an immediate indication that something's been put on there. They are thin, but not unnoticeably thin. They do have some thickness to them, so just by running your hand across it, you can pretty much tell if someone had put one on there. We're going to go ahead and check our jams here, make sure we don't have any type of pry marks, nothing around the inside here. Now the first thing to do when we open up the pump is we are going to look at our card reader. This is the back of our card reader. The skimmer can go either here or it can remain hidden inside of the card reader. The card reader should never have more than this board. If you have secure ones, there will be a housing around everything. So if anything is on that housing, you also know that's not supposed to be there. If I were to have anything else around stuck against the plate here, I would immediately contact my manager or law enforcement to let them know that I may have found a skimmer. There's nothing wrong with being careful when it comes to stolen credit cards. Now we're going to go ahead and close the pump back up, and then we're going to add an anti-breach sticker to the pump. All right, these particular security labels will show void open if they're broken. You want to put it on in a way that's going to contact the most surface area So if you were to put it up and down, it may be beneficial to put it sideways. So what we're going to do is just affix it here. And we'll go and just put that right on there like that. But one thing to keep in mind, that if a criminal pulls up to your pump and sees this sticker, he knows you're looking for card read skimmers. He knows you're using best practices, and a lot of times that's enough for them not to even try. If you do find a skimmer, leave the skimmer on the pump and call law enforcement. They do have to come back in most cases to retrieve the card information, so law enforcement may want to fingerprint and things like that, and you don't want to touch the skimmer unless you are directed by law enforcement to do so. It's actually a fairly simple thing to avoid with just a little bit of care. You'd want to inspect your pumps every day just to make sure you don't have any bends, breaks, busted locks. You also can buy a very simple set of stickers to put on the pumps to make sure there was not a breach that will break if someone opens the pumps. And then of course, always pay attention to large amounts of chargebacks and things like that, people reporting unauthorized charges, because sometimes these skimmers will use the skimmed information at the same station so that it doesn't alert you because you think you were there, you just don't see the charge twice. It's unfortunately easy for someone to break the law. There's always a way that they're going to find. You know, we can come up with this and they'll come up with a way to break it. It may not be your credit card that gets stolen, but it will affect your business in the long run.